Hey everyone, this is Shannon, the Iron Nurse Practitioner. Well, if you have been dealing with iron deficiency for any amount of time, then you have heard the word ferritin. So let's talk about why this is so important. Okay, so let's talk about what ferritin's job is. For iron, it maintains iron hemostasis, meaning keeping those levels normalized. So for instance, if the demand for iron goes up, then ferritin releases iron into the cells. If the demand for iron goes down, then ferritin stores iron. So that is how it maintains that iron balance. Now, for immune function and cell protection, not all of the job of ferritin is completely understood, but it is known to be triggered to store iron if there's inflammation, infection, or some other chronic disease which causes inflammation happening in the body. So we do know that it will be signaled to hold on to that iron if there is some kind of infection or disease going on in the body. Okay, so we just talked about how ferritin is responsible for iron hemostasis. So very early on in iron deficiency, when the cells are demanding for more iron, then ferritin is going to release the iron into the cells, so it'll be the first to drop before transferring iron saturation, total iron, except in the case of inflammation. Okay, so what does that mean? So ferritin levels on your blood work will be up if there's inflammation present, and they will be up if you have adequate iron stores, but they will be down if the demand for iron has increased, and below a certain level, that's when we say your iron is too low. So this is why it is very unlikely to be able to tell if you are iron deficient without a ferritin. And it is also very unlikely to be able to tell if you're iron deficient without an iron panel. And without a ferritin, I just explained that it's the first to drop. And without the iron panel, because if ferritin's up and you don't have an iron panel, there may be inflammation. So we don't know if it's truly that the iron stores are good or are they not. So we have to have both when we're looking for iron deficiency. Okay, so pop quiz. Is this patient iron deficient? You have a total iron level of 110 micrograms per deciliter, a TIBC or total iron binding capacity of 450 micrograms per deciliter, iron saturation at 49%, and a ferritin of 11. And so you know now that the total iron is normal, the TIBC is normal, the iron saturation is high, but the ferritin is low. What's your answer? Yes, this patient is definitely iron deficient. Having a ferritin of 11 in every guideline is characterized as iron deficiency. The American Society of Hematology says 30 or below, and now guidelines are trying to push for even 70 and below if they're symptomatic. But every guideline says this patient is iron deficient with a ferritin of 11. The iron saturation being high only means that the body's trying to get that iron into those cells. So it doesn't change the fact that this patient is iron deficient. Quiz question number 2. This patient's total iron is 15 micrograms. The TIBC is 256. Iron saturation is 5% and a ferritin of 76. And now you can see that the total iron is low, her TIBC is normal, and the iron saturation is low, but the ferritin is normal. So is this patient iron deficient? The answer is yes, this patient is iron deficient. With the total iron being only 15 and iron saturation being only 5%, and even the TIBC is borderline, this patient is definitely iron deficient. The ferritin being 76, like we talked about earlier, this patient could have a chronic disease that's causing inflammation, some other bowel issue causing inflammation, even celiac disease, but something is causing some inflammation that is keeping the ferritin up, but their total iron stores are almost all of them are low. So this patient is definitely iron deficient. I hope this video helped you to understand why ferritin is so important to iron deficiency. Please leave me any comments you might have. I'll try to do my best to answer them, and share this with anybody you think this might help. And you can also find this on YouTube. Thanks so much. The Iron Nurse Practitioner.